Hi, I'm Mark Bunker, San Diego 6 web producer, and I love movies. And I thought from time to time I would sit down and chat for a couple of minutes about some films I may have seen recently in the theater, things that perhaps you should see, or maybe I could tell you to avoid. This last weekend I went to see The Great Buck Howard, which I thought was a really terrific little film. If every film was just this good, I think filmgoers would be really satisfied. This is not a great movie. It's not going to be on the top 10 lists for critics at the end of the year. It probably won't garner any awards, but it's a nice, solid little film that I thought was actually quite delightful. It's dark, it's sardonic, and sweet all at the same time. It's a film about essentially the amazing Kreskin. And for those of you who may be old, like me, you know who the amazing Kreskin is. It's a little disturbing, actually, to wander around the station here and say, you know, this is based on Kreskin, and people go, who? Well, that's part of the film, too, because like the movie The Wrestler, this is about a performer who's past his prime and is trying to hang on, and the world has moved on beyond him. This is a very different film in that this is a light film, and The Wrestler was a deeply, dark film. It was a good movie, a great movie. This isn't on The Wrestler's par, but it's following some of the same themes. John Malkovich plays the amazing Kreskin, essentially, now known as the Great Buck Howard. He's a mentalist who was extremely big in the 60s and 70s. As he says often in the movie, he appeared 61 times on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. You have to say Johnny Carson, not this punk that's running the show now. And it's essentially about the relationship between Buck Howard and the young student, college student, dropout, actually. Colin Hanks plays a law student who's terribly unhappy being a law student, so he takes a job as assistant to this mentalist, Buck Howard, and learns the ropes of what it's like to be in the minor leagues of show business, going from small town to small town as Buck performs to his, really limited houses, smaller audiences, smaller towns, but still pushing on. But to Buck Howard, it's still the heights of fame, and it's not gentle. It's not an easy take on Kreskin, and I'm one of the people who really liked Kreskin and still likes Kreskin, and I have a lot of fondness for Kreskin and his overeager handshake, which they mock in the film mercilessly. And as I was watching the film, I was thinking, boy, they're being really brutal toward Kreskin. Does he really deserve this? They're jabbing him left and right in the movie, but by the end of the film, it's kind of an affectionate look at the guy, warts and all, and he's human. I was actually interested to see Kreskin's take on this, so I went to Kreskin's website after watching the film, and Kreskin is on board. He is out promoting this movie, so I'm happy to see that he's not offended by the film, and he shouldn't be, because as wicked as the sense of humor in the film might be, it is disarmingly sweet as well. There's a nice romance between Colin Hanks and Emily Blunt, who plays a young press agent who comes in to handle a big event for the Great Buck Howard. And they develop a relationship that's quite nice. Not a film that, as I said, will garner any awards, but it's the type of film that you'll look back at years later and go, that was a really nice film, and you'll catch it on cable, and you'll find yourself unable to turn away from it. It's produced by Tom Hanks, and this is the first time that I think that Tom Hanks and his son Colin Hanks have appeared on screen together. I think someday, maybe decades from now, we will see a terrific pairing that's worthy of the two of them. Something along the lines of On Golden Pond was for Jane and Henry Fonda. Colin Hanks isn't quite to the level of his dad, but he does a nice job, keeping this film going. And as I was watching the movie, I was thinking, this guy, this Colin Hanks kid, he'd be perfect as Dagwood Bumstead. Hopefully nobody out there is going to make a Blondie feature film, but if they do, Colin Hanks would be perfect for it. Anyway, good film. I'd suggest going to see it. If you don't catch it in the theater, I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be around. It'll be on DVD soon. Give it a chance. I think you'll really love it. Until next time, this is Mark Bunker, and I will see you here in the San Diego 6 newsroom.